Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go ahead, Sue.
I'd like to call the city council meeting to order. Nina, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Councilperson Alvarez?
Here.
Councilperson Podgorski?
Here.
Councilperson Geishurst?
Here.
Councilperson Clem?
Here.
Councilperson Williams?
Here.
Councilperson Gully?
Here.
Councilperson Zilli?
Here.
We have the approval of the minutes from the November 10th meeting. Someone has got a lot of background.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, Nina, please call the roll.
Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilperson Podgorski?
Yes.
Councilperson Geishurst?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Gully?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
We have the communications, correspondence, and announcements from the mayor. I have none at this time. So we have the clerk treasurer's report.
I was just going to update everyone on the GO bond. Originally, we were going to be closing today, December 1st, but that was moved to December 10th. So I can update you at the January meeting.
Okay. We have reports of the city officials. Do we have any city officials online that would like to give their report? If not, I believe council members did get reports from some of the city officials.
I had a
Hi,
question
Mayor.
about that, Mayor. Oh, I'm sorry. You can go ahead.
Go ahead, Ferdinand.
So we definitely appreciate all the hard work that our department heads do. But our last meeting was what, like 7 minutes long? I'm wondering if in the case, in the event that we have any more virtual meetings, if we could have our department heads log into our meeting and give their report, at least for the public's sake. I think it would be in their best interest to hear it. I mean, we do get our reports emailed to us and we definitely appreciate that, but I think there's a different level of communication that can be done. And it should only take a couple of minutes, just like at our usual meetings. So just a suggestion if we, in fact, continue down this route. Thank you.
That's a great suggestion, Ferdinand. And just to let everybody know that Nina does have those comments from our department heads, so they can be posted online on our Facebook and our government page if people want Nina to do that. Okay, Nina, can you do that?
Post department head reports?
Yes.
Sure.
So I
Hello, ma'am.
agree with you, Ferdinand. We can try to do that at our next meeting. I know that I spoke to the governor's aide today, And he did say that it looks like for the foreseeable future, we will still be doing virtual meetings. Okay,
Thank you.
do we have any reports from standing committees? If not, we'll go to, we have no unfinished business. We'll go to new business 2025 transfer resolution.
Colin, would you take that, please?
Yep, sorry.
Colin, would you take?
Yep, sorry, I had to unmute myself. Trying to pull it up here. 1 second. Sorry, it's being slow. 1 second. Resolution 20-25, transfer resolution, where it is now necessary to transfer appropriation balances within the 2020 budget. Now be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Portage approves the following appropriation transfers within the 2020 budget. From 101, 100, 111, mayor salaries, 50,250, to 101, 30, 241, City Hall supplies, 8,000, 101, 50, 441, Clerk Treasurer equipment, 150, to 101, 60, 241, council miscellaneous supplies, 300, to 101, 60, 441, council equipment, 4,200, 101, 80, 322, fire department supplies, 2,600, 101, 80, 441, fire department equipment, 10,000, and 101, 101, 111, planning salaries, 25,000. From 101, 80, 318, fire medical expenses, 11,800, to 101, 80, 231, fire equipment repair, 17, I think that's supposed to be 17,000, Nina. It looks like there's a digit missing. To 101, 80, 441, fire equipment, 5,200. From 101, 80, 322, fire travel, 4,700, to 101, 80, 441, fire equipment, 4,700. From the continuing ed fund, we have from 207, 230, 391, law enforcement continuing ed registration, 22,000, to 207, 230, 441, law enforcement continuing education equipment, 22,000. From park and recreation non-reverting capital, from 403, 220, 370, park and recreation non-reverting capital lease purchases, 5,000, to 403, 220, 441, non-reverting equipment, 5,000. Let the record reflect this has been read in full. Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, Nina, please call the roll.
Councilperson Alvarez,
Yes.
Councilperson Podgorski,
Yes.
Councilperson Geisers,
Yes.
Councilperson Clem,
Yes.
Councilperson Williams,
Yes.
Councilperson Gully,
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli.
Yes.
We have the 2026 Marina Shore Special Improvement District Annual Assessment Levy Resolution.
I'll take that. So this is resolution number 20-26. This is a resolution approving assessment roll and list of assessments for the City of Portage Marina Shore Special Improvement District. Whereas the Marina Shore Special Improvement District has been established within the City of Portage, and whereas Municap Inc. Prepared the annual assessment report and the amendment of the assessment roll for the imposition of assessments in 2021 and collection in 2020. Let the record reflect that this resolution has been read in its entirety. Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion by Scott, seconded by Gina. Is there any discussion?
Was it Gina or Deb? I'm sorry.
Debbie.
Deb,
Excuse
I'm
me.
sorry, Deb.
That's all right.
If there's no discussion, Nina, please call the roll.
Councilperson Alvarez,
Yes.
Councilperson Podgorski,
Yes.
Councilperson Geishurst,
Yes.
Councilperson Clem,
Yes.
Councilperson Williams,
Yes.
Councilperson Gully,
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli.
Yes.
We have the 2027 Steel Warehouse of Burns Harbor LLC tax abatement resolution.
Ferdinand, would you take that, please?
Yes, sir. Resolution number 20-27. Whereas the Portage Common Council wishes to encourage and foster economic development within the city of Portage, and whereas the Portage Common Council adopted Ordinance 16-13, evidencing its desire to allow tax abatement benefits to a community of properties located within the previously designated economic development target area, and whereas Steel Warehouse of Burns Harbor LLC has submitted its statement of benefits dated 11/16 of 2020 to the Common Council. Now, therefore, the Portage Common Council finds that, number one, the estimate of the cost of the new manufacturing equipment is reasonable for equipment of that type. Number two, the estimate of the number of individuals who will be employed or whose employment will be retained can reasonably be expected to result from the installation of new manufacturing equipment. Number three, the estimate of annual salaries of those individuals who will be employed or whose employment will be retained can reasonably be expected to result from the proposed installation of new manufacturing equipment. Number four, other benefits about which information was requested are benefits which could reasonably be expected to result from the proposed installation of new manufacturing equipment. Number five, the totality of benefits to be derived from the proposed installation of new manufacturing equipment is sufficient to justify the deduction sought by the applicant. The Portage Common Council therefore concludes that the statement of benefits submitted by Steel Warehouse of Burns Harbor LLC to the Portage Common Council should be, and hereby is, approved as follows. IT equipment listed in the statement of benefits is approved for tax abatement for a period of 5 years at the following deduction schedule. Year 1, 100%. Year 2, 80%. Year 3, 60%. Year 4, 40%. Year 5, 20%. And year 6 and thereafter, 0%. Be it further resolved that a tax abatement fee in the amount specified in section 30-6 of the City of Portage Municipal Code shall be paid by the property owner during each year in which the property owner's property tax liability is reduced by the tax abatement approved herein. Be it further resolved that the tax abatement granted by this resolution is conditioned upon the property owner consenting to the imposition of the tax abatement fee. Let the record show that this resolution has been read in its entirety.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is anyone from Steel Industries here, Steel Warehouse, wishing to speak? Mayor.
This is John Novitsky. I'm the business unit manager at this location. I'm from Steel Warehouse.
Did you have anything that you wanted to say to the council?
No, I'm happy you passed it. This is going to be a good thing for our location. It should increase, the volume we put out, and maybe create some more jobs.
Does the council have any questions for Mr. Lipinski?
I do actually, Mr. Levitsky. I was wondering, this is Councilman Alvarez. I was wondering how many jobs are you looking to create from this abatement?
Well, right now we have 24 employees. This could add 2 or 3. We're looking to run this new piece of equipment on more than one shift, so we are replacing an old piece of equipment, so most of the workers are going to be working on a new line versus our older line that is pretty outdated right now. So, but we do expect at least 2 new hires fairly quickly after it's up and running.
So, Mr. Lipinski, this is Councilperson Williams. It's my understanding that you already have an abatement, and this is a new request for a new line that you're putting in to increase productivity and over time add jobs. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. The new line will be able to do a wider range of gauges. Right now we're stuck at 0.125 inch thick, and this will take us up to 1/4 inch. So it gives us more opportunities for new business. So as that grows, we would add on a shift. So the shift would consist of minimum of 6 people between the packaging and the crane up, the material movements and stuff. So
I know that you've been a good steward and a good business, and we appreciate you being here, and look forward to the increased productivity that this new line will offer.
Well, I appreciate the town council. Thank you.
If there are no further questions, I would ask Nina to please call the roll.
Councilperson Alvarez,
Yes.
Councilperson Podgorski,
Yes.
Councilperson Geishurst,
Yes.
Councilperson Clem,
Yes.
Councilperson Williams,
Yes.
Councilperson Gully,
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Lipinski, for being in our community and supporting our community.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the acceptance of SB1 Balstapine.
Yeah, I'll take that, Mayor. This is resolution number 18-4. Just as a comment before I read the resolution, this is a resolution that sort of fell through the cracks in 2018, and we're trying to clean it up. It's my understanding that this abatement was passed in 2018, was signed off by the client, Voestapline. I'll probably botch that name. I apologize for that. And evidently didn't get executed by our clerk treasurer at the time and the mayor. So in an effort to transparency, in an effort to make sure that this resolution and this tax abatement is truly executed properly, the clerk treasurer chose to put it on tonight's agenda. So with that said, I'll go ahead and read the resolution. Whereas the Portage Common Council wishes to encourage and foster economic development within the city of Portage, and whereas the Portage Common Council adopted ordinance 16-13, evidencing its desire to allow tax abatements benefits to a community of properties located within the previously designated economic development target area, and whereas Voestapline Bowler Welding USA Technology LLC has submitted the statement of benefits dated 2/20/2018 to the Common Council. Now, therefore, the Portage Council finds that, let the record reflect that this resolution has been read in its entirety. Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Nina, do we know if there are more of these that never came to the council from previous years? Have we been able to find any more of these?
not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Were they getting?
And so
their
just to be
tax
clear, they are
abatements?
getting their abatement. It is
Okay.
being processed, yeah. But their accountants with the company has just been on them, wanting them to have all the proper paperwork in line. So I can't blame them.
Good, that answered my question.
So if there's no further questions, Nina, would you please call the roll?
Councilperson Alvarez,
Yes.
Councilperson Podgorski,
Yes.
Councilperson Geishurst,
Yes.
Councilperson Clem,
Yes.
Councilperson Williams,
Yes.
Councilperson Gully,
Looks like Brian might have froze.
here he is. Councilperson Gully,
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli.
Yes.
We have the acceptance of SB1 Marina Shores Lot 27.
I'll take that as well, Mayor. And again, before we move to accept this resolution, I'd like to just make the comment that when a tax abatement is awarded, in this case, it's part of the Marina Shores that we've awarded in the past. This is not a new abatement. Each year, the entity, the party that is awarded the abatement must submit an application for basically a renewal of the abatement. So over the course of this next several months, these have to be submitted to us by May 10th for the council's approval. This is probably the first of many that we're going to see over the course of the next several months. So this, again, is basically a renewal based on the abatement schedule that was granted to the homeowners initially. And this particular abatement is for Tammy and James Weller, who occupy a home in Marina Shores on Lot 27. So I would make a motion to accept this continued abatement of Lot 27.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, Nina, please call the roll.
Councilperson Alvarez,
Real quick, Nina, is it possible to just batch all these together and do them in one big batch in like April?
They don't come in all at the same time.
No, I'm saying like just hold them until like April and then just approve them all together as opposed to doing it every meeting.
Yeah, we could. This is the only one I've gotten so far. The homeowner was, I think, a little nervous, and she just wanted to make sure it was.
I mean, it's fine to do. I was just thinking of a way to not have to do every single one at every meeting and just do them as a batch.
We could, and then do it at the April meeting, because I know they have to be in by like May 10th, I want to say.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or you could do them in batches by the month. If she gets like 10, then maybe in the next month we could do that group.
Right.
Rather than
like
getting a whole bunch of them in April.
Right. We don't have to like read every single one. We can just approve it as a batch at the meeting, right?
I think so.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
We can do that.
Never mind then.
Okay, Nina, would you please call the roll?
Councilperson Alvarez,
Yes.
Councilperson Podgorski,
Yes.
Councilperson Geishurst,
Yes.
Councilperson Clem,
Yes.
Councilperson Williams,
Yes.
Councilperson Gully,
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli.
Yes.
So we have the Copac versus City of Portage settlement. Dan, are you on the line?
I am, Mayor. I am on the line. So this, if everyone can hear me, I hope you can. This is a lawsuit that stems from some time ago. It's involving a police dog and a bite to another officer. This litigation was mediated in 2019 and settled at mediation that day. But no one seems to have told the city that. And so I was asked about when that settlement might be getting funded. Now, the reason I've asked it to come in front of the city council is because this is one of those cases, one of the few cases that we had with that Indiana political subdivision insurance pool, and our deductible on each case was $25,000. And had we reached the deductible already and there was no more money coming out of the city's coffers, I believe that probably the Board of Works could have just approved this. But since we have not met our deductible on this case, this settlement will require about $18,211 from the city to fund. So since that is a expenditure that you had not budgeted for, I felt it appropriate to have the fiscal body approve this as well. Any
So we
questions?
will need a motion to approve the settlement.
I would say so, Mayor. Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve. Go ahead, Ferdinand.
Thank you. Yep, I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, Dan, can you clarify? So how much are we paying the city to settle this lawsuit? I'm not sure I understood the insurance thing.
Yeah, so here's the thing. This is one of those cases that was under that pooled policy that we had, where each case on its own had a $25,000 deductible. Thus far, the city has paid all but, they've only paid $7,000 toward this lawsuit. So that leaves $18,211 of the deductible that we have to meet before the insurance kicks in. Obviously, this lawsuit is more than $18,211, so we're going to pay up to that $25,000 deductible. The insurance is paying the rest. We have already paid $7,000 and some for handling this lawsuit back in 19 and 18. What's left is the $18,211 of our deductible. That's what we have to pay. That makes sense?
Makes sense. Yep.
All right.
Are there any other questions?
I appreciate you letting us know about and getting us involved in this, and thank you.
Of course. Of course.
If there are no further questions, go ahead, Nina.
Okay. I was just going to let everyone know, we do have the funds available in the CLPD fund to pay it. So.
Good.
And hopefully Dan has let me know that this is probably one of the last lawsuits from the past that we are dealing with. Correct, Dan?
This is one of the last lawsuits from that pooled insurance plan that we were in. We've won a couple of them, actually. I've litigated a couple of those this year and won them. So those have been resolved. We had one that went up on appeal twice, won both times on that. So I think we're down to one other, but it's we're way past the deductible on the other one. It's in federal court, and so there's not going to be any more money out of the city that I can tell from that pack of lawsuits that we had under that insurance plan.
So if there are no further questions, Nina, would you please call the roll?
Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilperson Podgorski?
Yes.
Councilperson Geis-Hurst?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Gully?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
We have the proven IT MNS agreement. It's an additional funding. Dan, would you like to explain that, please?
I can explain some of it. Nina can probably explain some of what they're doing. But so we had a contract, a proposed contract with a new IT carrier, Proven IT, as you all know. And most recently, there's been a change to that, or a proposed change to have somebody actually on site, housed at the police department, much like we have now. And so that required a change in what you were anticipating the cost would be. It's $4,000 some odd change a month for that person. So I believe that Council President Scott Williams at the Board of Works meeting, since this was another thing that you hadn't really budgeted for or anticipated when you contemplated the budget, it was best that you guys had an opportunity to weigh in on this contract. I'd made some changes since the Board of Works meeting, some requested changes, and they've capitulated to those. So in my reading of it, from a city attorney aspect, it's fine. But I think the reason it's in front of you guys is because it's obviously a money commitment that you weren't necessarily anticipating.
If I may add to that, go ahead, Mayor.
I want to make it very clear that this is actually for 6 months. I think that some departments were nervous of switching over to a virtual person with some of the highly technological equipment they've got. So that we met with Proven, and we met with those department heads who had some concerns, and we agreed that if we kept an in-house person for 6 months, and at the 5-month timeline, we would get back together and see if we did not need that person in-house. We will reevaluate in 5 months and see if everybody's on board with going with the virtual person. But for right now, there's a lot of new equipment and there's a lot of changes being made. And so this was the reason for the change. Nina, do you have anything you wanted to add to that?
I guess to explain it, the contract altogether, I believe everyone is aware we had contracted, or the city did, back in 2015. It didn't actually kick in the contract till 2016. It was a 5-year contract with the DAR for IT support services. That expires February 1st. Well, I'm sorry, our last payment will be February 1st. It expires March 1st. So it's just getting them going. So when the switch flips, we're not in trouble, basically.
And I put in the contract for the first 3 months, so we're not double paying during those 3 months. Proven has agreed to sort of put that at the end of the contract. So we'll start paying that monthly installment after 3 months. So while we're still in the ADAR period. And I think Nina can speak to the fact that even with this addition to the contract that Proven has proposed, it still shakes out to be a savings to what we currently have. Correct, Nina?
Oh, it absolutely does. And it will be much better service quality.
So Nina, I have a question. It says December 1st, but when does Proven actually come on board in-house?
When the contract gets signed tomorrow.
Okay. So
they would like it to start today, but we couldn't move forward yet without the council's blessing because of the money.
So are we hoping that there's going to be a smooth transition from the in-person person, oh, that's really bad, that we have now? Or
I think the person who is
Deb, we are hoping that will be a smooth transition.
Okay.
We are working on that.
Okay.
I had a question either for you, Mayor, or Clerk Treasurer Rivas. Can either of you tell us exactly how much of a cost savings the city is going to realize from this change in IT vendors?
So this is what the maximum cost monthly will be. Our current provider has not provided Proven IT with enough credentials, enough information to determine the exact monthly cost. This is based off just going off a network assessment that we did back in the spring. But we had asked them back then when they, were putting things together to come up with the most it's going to cost, because we don't need to, we can't afford any financial surprises. So we budgeted for, the most amount, with the exception of the original quote proposal didn't include someone in-house for the 6 months. So it won't exceed it until they get in there and we get our first bill. I can't say what the actual savings will be, but at least right now we're currently paying On the city side, roughly $31,000 a month, and on the utility, about $1,600 a month. So.
Okay.
And this is
20,000 a month.
for the most it could be is 24,195, right?
Right.
Or 150. 24,150.
We've also been paying, so when our contract expires, the city, many departments, many employees have thin client workstations. They're like little cube boxes. Those are the property of ADARs, according to the contract. So we've been working on, in the spring, we had entered into a contract and have been paying on it so that we can provide workstations for everybody. Otherwise, come March 1st, there's no support and some departments wouldn't have computers, so.
And the one thing that Proven has told us is that they need the 90 days to get to onboard. So that's why we're doing this now, so we can be onboarded by March 1st. Right, Nina?
Right. Right. We're pushing it with the time, with they have their hands full, but I'm confident that they'll make it work.
Now, I know all municipalities are different, but do we know what other municipalities pay for IT? Like Valparaiso, for example, would probably be the closest comparison. But do we know that?
They have They have an IT department. At least they have one person who's IT. So.
Thank you.
Nina, in terms of services, I know with ADAR we've had problems. It's not a secret. In terms of services, what else would Proven be able to provide that ADAR has not been able to provide?
So this will
willing to provide, I guess, might be a better word there.
Right. So this will include this will give us an instance on the AWS server. So we're not going to have antiquated servers that need upgraded. Like right now, our email, we don't actually have a 365 Microsoft subscription. We're on an Exchange server that's housed at PD. It's antiquated. Most of the virtual. Right. And when we did a network assessment, there's a PC on. I'm not sure who it is because it doesn't have proper naming conventions weren't done. But it was like XP. Actually, so this will be up to date hardware, up to date software. This will include 365 subscription for everybody. It includes like kind of like what right now the city has with the Mimecast spam filter, something like that, to replace that. Right now, if we have an issue, we call someone who is at the PD. We would, which we would still be able to for at least those 6 months. But they have a team of like 70, engineers that we can just pick up the phone. They can remote in and help with anything that we need.
I think the other thing I want to, pardon?
Mayor, I'd just like to comment that the Board of Works has approved this contract with Proven. This is something that the Board of Works looked at very, very carefully, looked at another vendor, compared the two, and spent months deliberating over the contract. So the contract has been approved. The contract's in place. The reason why this came before the council, and that these have all been good questions, and I'm not saying they have not been, but the reason it's before the council is because there's an additional budgetary request for 6 months for $27,900, and we thought it'd be prudent to make the council aware of this exhibit B that's been an attachment to the original contract. So really, that's the issue at hand. It's not the Proven IT contract because that's been approved, and that was the responsibility of the Board of Works. So what we're asking is the council to now make a motion. I moved that the $27,900 for an on-site person for 6 months be approved, and that I think that Nina I had a conversation with her, has indicated that there is money available out of the edit funds that will be able to pay for this additional dollars to have this person on site. And the main reason why this additional person is on site, as the mayor said very clearly, that there's a transition period here. And we've been used to having an on-site person that's at our disposal 40 hours a week. And in order to make this transition to happen more smoothly, it's prudent for us, I think, to at least have this person on site for 6 months, as we are experiencing now, and then evaluate that 5 months down the road to see if it's necessary, or can we just go to a virtual type of help desk to answer our questions and concerns that we have down the road. So my motion is to approve $27,900 as additional expense to the initial contract for this on-site person.
I'll second the motion.
Go ahead.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Any more questions?
Yeah, Nina, was there any discussion with Proven about, I know with 365 licenses that get you access to Microsoft Teams, of transitioning our phones away from paying Comcast, we have our phones through, and moving to an internet-based phone service through Microsoft. I know my company has that, many companies have that. I mean, we're paying quite a bit to Comcast each month for phone service, for each person to have a dedicated phone line at their desk that with Teams may not even be necessary anymore.
So earlier this year, the Board of Works approved a contract also with Proven because the goal was to do some vendor consolidation. So we are in the middle of that. It's called Elevate. Actually, this platform that we're using right now is part of the new phone system. And we will pay per user, and they will manage our Comcast account for us.
Okay.
For that. And so if we identify, no, this employee doesn't actually need a phone, or, at their desk or something, we will only pay per user.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And so, Colin, what we've done is, like in the mayor's office up there were like 5 desks with phones, and absolutely no one was sitting at those desks. So we did away with that monthly fee per phone because no one was using them. So we've really reduced the number of users on here. It's a cost savings. It's amazing. And we're in the process, because I noticed today they were working on the phones, and so they've been working on them for what, Nina, maybe the last month, of trying to get this new phone system going.
Right.
And Nina, is Proven going to work to increase our bandwidth with the city? I know we have problems at City Hall. There's just no bandwidth available. We wouldn't be able to run a meeting like this out of City Hall. So.
Right. Yep, that's all part of it. Eliminating the duplicate. I mean, okay, for example, right, the City Hall has 2 Comcast accounts for internet service. We have we have fiber coming to the building. It's just not configured properly. And then the past administration, maybe I don't know why, I can't speak to that, but the mayor's got her own. She didn't request it; it was already there. But she's got her own modem that broadcasts its own SSID in her office.
Right. There should be just.
And I can't even use it. I can't even use it half the time.
Yeah, everybody should be connected to just one general city network across all buildings. It's not an impossible feat to do.
Right. And even, down at the street department, there's at least 2 off the top of my head. And it's not necessary. You can have wireless access points, that will keep the signal going throughout the whole.
It's similar to what the schools do. The schools have one master network. The buildings have their own individualized networks, and everybody connects to one network.
Right. And then like the Wi-Fi network, it'll all be the same throughout all city facilities. That way, if you're going from facility to facility, you don't need, hey, what's the Wi-Fi password?
Great.
The other nice thing about the new system, it will have an auto attendant on it. So when someone rings in, if say Marcia would be busy or no one's at her desk, the auto attendant's going to answer it and transfer you to the department that you want to be speaking to. So that's going to be much more professional.
Beautiful.
it's better than somebody calling and calling and no one answers the phone.
Good work,
Oh.
Board of Works and Nina and
That's
Mayor for getting this together. I know it's been a 12-month process since day one, so.
That's what I wanted to say. Scott, you as well said the way you explained everything, and I want to thank the Board of Works for doing the research that they've done. I appreciate it.
So if there are no further questions, Nina, would you please call the roll?
Councilperson Alvarez,
Yes.
Councilperson Podgorski,
Yes.
Councilperson Geishurst,
Yes.
Councilperson Clem,
Yeah.
Councilperson Williams,
Yes.
Councilperson Gully,
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. We have the introduction of ordinances 2015 and ordinance amending Chapter 90, Article 5 of the City of Portage Municipal Code entitled Zoning Map.
Gina, would you take that, please?
Yes, I will. Ordinance number 2015, an ordinance of the City of Portage, Indiana, amending Chapter 90, Article 5 of the City of Portage Municipal Code entitled Zoning Map. Be it and hereby is ordained by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana, as follows. Section 1, the ordinance shall amend Chapter 90, Article 5 of the City of Portage Municipal Code and accompanying zoning map in the following manner. The zoning shall be changed from M1, low-density multifamily residential, to R2, low-density residential, on the described property on the corner of Airport Road and Lute Road, east and south noted in the Exhibit A drawing and Exhibit B legal description. Section 2, contingencies, none. Section 3, conflicting ordinances. Any ordinance or provision of any ordinance in the City of Portage and conflict of the provision of this ordinance is hereby repealed. Section 4, severability. Invalidity of any section, clause, sentence, or provision of this ordinance shall not affect the validity of any other part of this ordinance, which can be effected without such invalid part or parts. Section 5, effective date. The ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and its passage, adoption of the Common Council, and approval of the Mayor of the City of Portage, Indiana. Passed and adopted by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana on today.
So this is the first reading of this ordinance.
I'll make a motion to suspend.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend. Nina, would you please call the roll?
Councilperson Alvarez,
Yes.
Councilperson Podgorski,
Yes.
Councilperson Geishurst,
Yes.
Councilperson Clem,
Yes.
Councilperson Williams,
Yes.
Councilperson Gully,
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli.
Yes. Make a motion to adopt.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I just want to say the plan that they've presented for this neighborhood is fantastic. I think it's much better than the plan that came before us. I don't know what, a year and a half ago for this area. I know the Plan Commission has reviewed this. It's gone through, I think, Development Review Committee before it went to Plan Commission. They're moving the ditch on Airport. We will no longer have that ditch along Airport. And then this zoning change is just to change. The previous developer that was going to develop the property wanted to do the paired patio homes on the south end of the property. This developer wants to do all single family homes. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, there's 174 homes planned here.
Yes.
I thought it was
174.
And their site plan is much better, I think, than the last development that was planned here. So
I believe that one of the developers is on the line if they would like to speak.
Yes, Madam Mayor, this is Jim Weezer. I'm the attorney for Lennar Homes of Indiana, representing them, and I concur with everything I've heard. I think this is an excellent plan. It's really going to bring high quality single family residential homes to that part of the community. It's going to help improve your traffic flow ultimately on Airport. The ditch will be relocated. The county has already agreed to provide or to transfer jurisdiction to the city for that purpose. So we're really excited about it. We appreciate your consideration in doing this on first reading and suspending the rules. That's very important to us. And while I think I have another representative or two here in the event there are any questions that we can answer.
Yeah, actually, I have a few questions. This is Councilman Zilli. It's in my district. Is there a plan for a homeowners association in this neighborhood? Do we know the answer to that question yet?
Yes. Jim, I'll go ahead and speak on this. My name is Todd Clevin. I'm the Entitlements and Planning Manager for Lennar. For the record, and those who may not know me, again, my name is Todd Clevin. With Lennar, our offices reside in East Dundee, and I do appreciate the time to be in front of you this evening and the means and methods that you guys are going over and beyond to continue the business due to the pandemic. That's very impressive, and we appreciate that as well. As Mr. Weezer indicated, the parcel in front of you is seeking a rezone back to the R2 present state that it was in before a competitor of ours that had it under contract. To answer your question, Mr. Councilman, the project will have a home association that'll maintain the private areas, the amenities within the development itself.
Okay, I ask that because we've had three experiences where neighborhoods have come in, they've put in a small park or walking paths, but didn't set up HOAs, and nobody's left to maintain it. The city's left holding the bag, and we're forced to maintain it even though it's not our property. We don't own it. So I just wanted to make sure that the park that's in here, the walking path, all the detention areas, those are going to be maintained by the HOA, correct?
That's correct. And while I have the floor, if it's okay, I'd like to introduce my colleagues, Jessica Cobb. She's our land acquisition manager, and also Bradley Moore. He's our engineer with Manhart Consultants. If there's any questions, we're here to continue to answer them.
Sure. I had another question about the entrance off of Lute. I know that is already a tricky entrance or a tricky intersection for us with traffic. Has there been any discussion about making that a four-way stop in any way?
So at this time, that's one of the great things that this community will bring to Portage is it will, in our opinion, correct a safety factor along Airport Road. We're going to petition the Army Corps to fill in the ditch along the east side of Airport Road, which is currently at possibly a 1-to-1 slope. And it's about 1,400 feet. We're going to meander that through our project, bisecting it roughly just about the northern portion of the 20 acres that we're rezoning this evening. And as we continue with your DRC and your plan commission and get further into the engineering, we'll study that intersection. But at this time, I'm going to defer to our engineer to see if you'd like to speak on that a little bit more as far as traffic studies and what we determined for that intersection. Go ahead, Bradley.
Yeah, hi, my name's Brad Moore. I'm the civil engineer on the project. To relay, piggyback on what Todd said, that intersection right now, the improvements to Airport Road will match the improvements that have already been done on the westerly side. What that'll do is give a 3 full lane section through, which will enable a designated left turn lane for southbound traffic into the subdivision with continuous flow in both directions, also the right turn in. So the stop sign, four-way stop is something that we can look further into and work with Portage in determining that. But as of right now, the designated left turn lane, which is usually what causes the issue, has been outlined in the final engineering plans.
Got it. Thank you. In terms of oh, sorry. Go ahead, Gina. Sorry.
Oh,
I
no
don't want
problem. I was going to ask if we found out any information on also providing sidewalks, because I had seen that there were sidewalks within the subdivision, but I wanted to know if we were going to have sidewalks on the outside of the subdivision along Airport Road, on the outside of that subdivision there with the bushes and so forth.
Bradley, do you want to speak on that?
Sure. The plan for the sidewalks on the exterior of the subdivision at this point, with the plans that everybody has seen, there's been no sidewalk associated in the right of way of Airport Road. Lennar is not opposed to that. I would say that the only issue is a continual walk along the entire parcel. We are relocating the ditch, like Todd mentioned, onto our site, but the permit only allows us to go basically to Monda, slightly north of Monda, south. So the connection of the sidewalk that exists from the northern boundary, it has been our thoughts that we provide a crosswalk access at that point to the western side, and then we, if the village sees fit to have the walk on both sides of Airport Road, we would look further into that.
Yeah, because it seems there's sidewalks to the north side of that subdivision, possible subdivision, as well as on the south. And with the increase in homes, there's going to be definitely increase in teens, kids, and traffic.
Yeah, our only concern is that for the improvements to Airport Road, north of Monda Road, there's no room to put a sidewalk. It goes from when we widen it, which is a couple feet, it continues to drop down to the ditch.
I think, Gina, what he's saying is the ditch north of Monda isn't being touched. They're just redirecting it south of Monda. So it doesn't leave room in between Monda. But I agree, though, there should still be a sidewalk between Monda and Lute on both sides of the road.
Yeah.
Because then at least it provides access from the homes on the north side to be able to access a sidewalk without having to cross the street.
And then in the temporary condition until Airport Road is 100% done and fully widened in that area north of Monda, just that strip. If that's the case, temporarily we'd like to propose that walk dead ending, that there's a cross access then that directs them across the street to the west side, which has complete sidewalk all the way to the high school. So that it's just not a dead end walk anymore for people heading south. People heading north on that sidewalk will have a full 4 section crosswalk at the intersection of Monda and Airport.
Thank you, Bradley. Councilwoman Gina, we will definitely take that into consideration. As you know, we get to the DRC level, we will dive into the engineering and the technical side in much more detail. And we'll work with your staff and make sure that these concerns are not overlooked that took place at the rezone petition in front of this body, and address it in more detail. And if you'd like, I can even reach out to you to attend that meeting, because I definitely don't want to overlook any concerns that you guys have as well. Because we will be just in front of the Plan Commission moving forward.
I appreciate it.
I do have a question about the rezone itself. So the previous developer felt that there was no possible way to do this development with all single-family homes up against the apartment complex. Why is your thinking different? They were absolutely convinced you could do it.
That's a very good question, and I can't speak for the previous developer other than saying that they were unable to make the project plausible or even get legs underneath it. So when we came in and entered into a purchase agreement, we looked at it, we looked at the current zoning, and we proposed our products. And being a nationwide home builder, we have corporate regulations that we have to meet, and we were just unable to make the project pencil out in a nutshell, and for lack of better terms, market conditions. We feel our single family product would work better on that parcel, and that's the reason for the rezone. So it'll be a 100% single family product.
In terms of the homes, do we have an average starting price and an average square footage on the homes yet?
We do. So the site in total, okay, I'm sorry, Jess. I will just briefly go through it, and then Jessica can speak on any in-depth details on the product. The site in total is 65 acres, 174 single-family homes. Average price, $314,000. Average home size, 2,100 square feet. Average lot size, 70 by 122. And I'll turn it over to Jessica, and she can speak in a little bit more detail on the product.
Sure, we'll be offering a good evening. Thank you again for your time this evening. In that lineup, we have 6 single family homes, 4 2-story and 2 ranches that we'll be offering.
Great. Are those going to be all the same material? Are they all going to have the same layouts, or are they all going to be mixed in different materials so they look different and it's not the same house next to each other throughout the entire neighborhood?
Well, the architecture is a bit different on each plan.
Okay.
They do start with a base of vinyl, but there is some shutters and some varying differences that it won't all look the same. And the buyers will have the option to add any other type of material, so stone and that sort of thing.
Okay. And in terms of the HOA, what's the expected HOA cost for a home in the neighborhood?
Pull that up. Just give me 1 second. We are at an estimated $33 a month.
Okay.
We're working directly with a third party on all of that.
Yeah, I know HOAs aren't very common in Portage. This would probably be maybe the 2nd or 3rd neighborhood to have one. So, but I do think it's important just because the experience we've had with developer comes in, puts in a very nice park, developer leaves, nobody ever takes care of it, and the city falls responsible for maintaining it.
Yep. Understandable.
Thank you all for answering questions. Do appreciate it.
Sure.
I have a question.
Thank you again.
Pat, you had a question?
I do. I have a question now. I'll just make sure we're all on the same page here, or at least I am. Have you been in front of the planning board yet?
So we have been in front of the Plan Commission to seek a recommendation to be in front of your body. So
That's
we
what I'm
were in
saying.
front of them
Why are
on
you here
November
now?
2nd. I'm sorry?
That's why I say, why are you here now? You hadn't been to the planning board yet.
Oh, no,
Because,
we have been.
Let me explain my question here. Usually you go through planning first, and then we get their input. But at that Lute intersection, going into your subdivision, if there's not a stop sign there and a pedestrian crosswalk, public safety will be priority over capital gain and monies to be profited. That will be a must in order to get my passage on this, because public safety will be priority, and that should be a stop sign there with crosswalks and sidewalks.
Absolutely, and that's the reason that
hold
we.
on a minute, Todd. If I could just chime in for a second. So I want to make something clear. I believe they've been through the Plan Commission on this rezone, and it's coming up with a favorable vote. Yeah, it's coming up with a favorable vote from the Plan Commission. They had the public hearing process, and they did the Plan Commission review of the petition to rezone, and they voted favorably. So it's in front of you on a favorable recommendation.
Okay.
And
But they didn't suggest a stop sign, a crosswalk at this intersection.
no, Pat, the what's before us right now is just to rezone the property. They still have to go through Plan Commission, DRC, Traffic Commission for all of the additional steps beyond here. This is just to rezone the property back from paired patio to single family.
Well, that's why I just want to make sure that what phase we're in here, because we're talking about sidewalks and stop signs and stuff here along with everyone else, and I guess that's someone else's decision. That's what I'm trying to get at. We just need to vote on this and move forward, and then let them take care of business later.
Right.
So if there are no further questions, we have a motion and a second. I will ask Nina to call the roll, please.
Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilperson Podgorski?
Yes.
Councilperson Geishurst?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Gully?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. This is going to be an exciting new subdivision in our community, and I'm looking forward to this getting kicked off and getting started very soon. Thank you all for coming and answering our questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your time. Just to confirm, Dan, this passed with the first and second reading, correct?
That's correct. They suspended the rule for the second reading. So really, I think kind of the next most immediate thing is, I did have, as was intimated earlier, I had the county relinquish jurisdiction of the ditch to our stormwater department. So at our stormwater meeting, I anticipate asking the stormwater board to accept jurisdiction of that. So you don't have to sort of play with two different rules on the ditch, activity.
Okay, we won't take their time. I'll reach out to you as far as petitioning that board so we can get the ditch accepted. And again, thank you for everything. I look forward to being part of your community. Lennar is excited about expanding their footprint, and we look forward to many more communities. Thank you
very much. Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
So we have the 2016 IBB Advanced Funding 2021 Ordinance.
Deb, would you take that, please?
Yes. Ordinance 20-16, an ordinance authorizing the city of Portage, Indiana to make temporary loans to meet current running expenses for the use of the general fund, insurance fund, motor vehicle highway fund, parks and recreation fund, and cumulative capital development fund of the issuer in anticipation of and not in excess of current taxes levied in the year 2020 and collectible in the year 2021, authorizing the issuance of temporary loan tax anticipation warrants to evidence such loans and the sale of such warrants to the Indiana Bond Bank, and appropriating and pledging the taxes to be received in such funds to the punctual payment of such warrants, including the interest thereon. Whereas the Common Council, the fiscal body of the city of Portage, Indiana, the issuer has determined that there will be an insufficient amount of money in the general fund, insurance fund, motor vehicle highway fund, parks and recreation fund, and cumulative capital development fund of the issuer funds to meet the current running expenses of the issuer payable from such funds during the fiscal year ending on the last day of December 2021 and prior to the respective June 2021, that is the first, and December 2021, that is the second, and final settlements and distribution of taxes levied for such funds. And whereas the fiscal body now finds that an emergency exists for the borrowing of money to pay current running expenses, and that temporary loans for the funds for such purposes should be made, and that temporary loan tax anticipation warrants evidencing such loans should be issued and sold, subject to the terms and conditions set forth herein and in accordance with the provisions of Indiana law. And whereas the fiscal body has determined to participate in the 2021 Advanced Funding Program, the program, established by the Indiana Bond Bank, the bond bank, whereby the bond bank will purchase the temporary loan tax anticipation warrants and or temporary interim warrants of the issuer. And whereas in order to participate in the program, the fiscal body may be required to issue and sell its temporary loan tax anticipation warrants to the bond bank prior to the final certification of the annual budget levy and tax rates for such funds for fiscal year 2021 by the Indiana Department of Local Government Finance. And whereas the levy proposed for collection for the funds in 2021 is estimated to produce in the aggregate with respect to such funds an amount equal to or in excess of the principal of interest on the temporary loans for such funds. And whereas a necessary exists for the making of temporary loans evidenced by temporary loan tax anticipation warrants for the funds in anticipation of the receipt of current tax revenues for such funds levied for the year 2020 and in the course of collection in 2021, and the fiscal body desires to authorize the making of temporary loans to procure the amounts necessary in combination with other available amounts to meet such current running expenses for such funds and to pay necessary costs incurred in connection with the issuance and sale of temporary loan tax anticipation warrants to evidence such temporary loans. Let the record reflect this has been read in its entirety. Motion to adopt.
I'll second, I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Nina, do you want to just quickly explain this for those that are watching that may not know what this is?
Sure. What was your motion to adopt?
Yes.
We need a motion to suspend on this one.
Oh, on
I
first.
think we do.
Okay. So I will
I'll
take
make the
that.
motion. Go ahead, Deb.
I'll take that motion to adopt back and I'll make a motion to suspend.
I'll second that motion to suspend.
We have a motion and a second. Nina, please call the roll.
Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilperson Podgorski?
Yes.
Councilperson Geishurst?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem? Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Gully?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes. Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt. Is there any discussion?
Nina?
Sure.
Would you? Yeah, please.
So, since at least 2013, I want to say, the city has annually taken advantage of the Indiana Bond Bank and issued tax anticipation warrants. Last year, the city had to borrow over 10.6 million. I hope this will be the last year that we have to do this for the foreseeable future. The total funds that we will be borrowing this year, borrowing, but it's in advance, is $6,329,775. So that's 4.3 million less than we did last year. So that's terrific. The CCD is 134,762. CLPD, which they inadvertently put EMB fund by mistake, but they corrected that. $79,068. The general fund, $5,168,574. MVH, $523,971. And Parks and Rec, they're actually up a little bit, but it's because there's been such a decline in their revenue this year because of COVID. And they're at $423,400.
We're making progress.
We are.
We're making progress.
So if there are no further questions, I will ask Nina to please call the roll.
Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilperson Podgorski?
Yes.
Councilperson Geishurst?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Gully?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
We have the 2017 Dormant Fund Ordinance.
Brian, would you take that, please?
Yeah. Ordinance 20-17, an ordinance deeming funds dormant and authorizing the transfer of dormant fund balances to the general fund. Whereas the Common Council of the City of Portage, Porter County, Indiana, finds that the purposes for the funds listed herein are no longer in effect and is now dormant, and whereas in accordance with IC 36-1-8-5, whenever the purposes of a tax levy have been fulfilled and an unused and unencumbered balance remains in the fund, the fiscal body of the political subdivision shall order the balance of the fund to be transferred to the general fund or rainy day fund of the municipality. And now therefore be it resolved, the Common Council of the City of Portage, Porter County, Indiana, does hereby declare the funds listed herein to be dormant and authorizes the clerk treasurer to close the fund and transfer the remaining balance to the City of Portage's general fund number 101. Fund number 212, EMB fund balance is December 31st balance. Fund number 220, stormwater management, $0. Fund 225, emergency response, $466.02. Fund 230, economic development, $1,075. Fund 260, riverboat, December 31st balance. Fund 266, cable TV, December 31st balance. Fund
I think Brian froze.
Yeah, Brian froze.
You want me to finish it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Nobody
Okay.
does.
I got it. So the 404 recovery bond 2010, $57.89. The 405 recovery bond debt revenue, nothing. 408, 2002 TIF bond series A, $2,092.82. 409, 2002 TIF bond series B, $1,303.79. 410 economic improvement, $9,356.68. 420 stormwater construction bond, $1,902.66. 421 2012 stormwater construction bond, $7,924.27. 422 1998 stormwater bond, $2,177.85. 423 the 2014 park bond, nothing. 428 cumulative building and capital improvement, $177,268.48. Number 431 2013 equipment bond, $14,916.01. The remaining 434 2014 paving bond, 457 2018 equipment lease, drain maintenance fund, construction site fund, stormwater operation and maintenance fund, vehicle inspection fund, cumulative channel maintenance fund, non-reverting, all are zeros. Passed and adopted by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Porter County, Indiana, this first day of December 2020. Is this a
motion
you have
to suspend?
it? You do. Okay, second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend. Nina, please call the roll.
Councilperson Alvarez,
Yes.
Councilperson Pogorski,
Yes.
Councilperson Geishurst,
Yes.
Councilperson Clem,
Yes.
Councilperson Williams,
Yes.
Councilperson Gully,
yes.
Councilperson Zilli.
Yes. Motion to adopt.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt. Nina, please call the roll.
Actually, Nina, real
Were
quick.
there any further questions? Sorry.
Yeah, real quick, to clarify, are these balances that there are there's cash attached to them, or they're balance?
No, these are real. $218,541.47.
Okay.
So the Fund 457, the 2018 equipment lease, I didn't put what the fund balance is, what it suggests, because it's over $1 million, but it's not there. That was a Horizon lease. We just have to
There's
resubmit.
not physically a bank account attached to it. Got it.
Correct, but these are actually real balances. So the total is $208,541.47.
So this is $218,000 that can help plug holes in
Cash flow into the general fund. Correct. Yep.
Good job.
Sorry.
And it will help reduce the size of the appropriation report and the fund report. So I will say also the drain maintenance fund, the construction site fund, the stormwater operation and maintenance fund, the vehicle inspection fund, and the cumulative channel maintenance fund actually do not exist in our system. However, they are in our municipal code. So that's why I wanted this done by ordinance, so it'll clean them up and get them out.
I suspect those probably came from the merger, the original merger for utilities.
Just the storm, maybe just the stormwater and maintenance. Actually, the stormwater operation and maintenance fund ordinance, it wasn't done properly by according to the 2017 ordinance that was created and passed. So I will ask later in January to create some funds properly. I didn't want to do that yet because I found a couple problems with a couple funds that we do have that I cannot see how they were actually legally established.
Yeah. On Riverboat. Sorry, go ahead.
Colin. Go ahead.
So on Riverboat and cable TV, I know in this year's budget that we crafted last year, we used all of what we were anticipating it to receive this year to cover expenses.
Mm-hmm.
By not creating these funds, the revenue is just going to go straight into the general fund?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Right. So the revenues, will still get the Riverboat and cable TV revenues. And then the E&B fund, that percentage of our levy will be shifted to the general. And so we put in actual insurance cost into each department for health insurance premiums.
Which, makes sense.
Right.
And Nina, besides all of the work that you've been doing to find all this stuff, has some of this been with what you've been dealing with the State Board of Accounts, as they've been looking at things? And
they recommend dormanting funds. I mean, in an audit, it's easier for them too. But we have to do the fund conversion. And so that's how I was really, was like, well, wait a minute, when's the last time, there's been actually even an appropriation balance for any of these funds. And for example, the cumulative building and capital improvement, the 177,000, there hasn't been an appropriation for that fund since 2007.
Wow.
So, and we could use the 218,000 in the general.
A little
fund.
bit, I think so. Yeah. I think so. Good job.
And with the conversion, I don't want to have to renumber funds that we don't need because it's already going to be enough.
So are there any other questions? If
not, just real quick, Nina. So are we thinking like Riverboat and cable TV are going to have a zero balance or very low balance? Is what we're anticipating?
No, I think cable TV will probably have, well, right now it has a temp loan out, so that's why I can't do this one.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. In the Riverboat, in case we get any lingering monies come in. The E&B fund, we actually have a tax levy for it, so we will get a December settlement.
Got it. Okay. So the 218 doesn't factor in what could be there, and it could be more.
Correct. Absolutely. Yep. I can actually pull up. I want to say the cable TV off the top of my head was, I want to say like 500,000 or so influx. I can send you what we forecasted it to be.
So I know you said you're going to come to us to create new funds. Are we creating an actual rainy day fund since cable TV?
We have one that has a zero balance. Since where my system goes back to 2012, it's not had a balance. But we are allowed to put in 10% of what the city's budget into the rainy day fund. And
right. We need
I think in a couple of years we'll get to that point that we're able to.
Well, I mean, we've been using cable TV as our rainy day fund forever, and at some point that's going to not exist anymore. I mean, the state will eventually get rid of that fee, and that's just money that we won't collect. So we can't bank on that being there even next year. I mean, who knows? The state could get rid of it.
Right. Right.
I think what the clerk treasurer is saying that, you know, that needs to be a financial goal, that we have a true rainy day fund.
Right.
And she indicated we can put up 10% of our budget into a rainy day fund. So, you know, I think that's a goal that I know the budget committee has talked about in the past. We just have not been able to establish a true rainy day fund because of the financial situation that we've been in.
Right.
So I can tell you that, and I didn't do this, so I'm not fluffing numbers or anything. This was Paige from Baker Tilly. As part of our GO bond issue, she created a summary of actual and estimated ending cash balances and reserves for the year 2018 through 2021. The funds that were used were the general fund, cumulative capital improvement, CCI, cumulative capital development, CCD, and edit. Just because they are more city side funds, not like park or MVH or anything like that. So in 2018, our reserves, our cash reserves were $930,434. In 2019, our cash reserves were $60,833.
And for 2020, it's probably going to be zero.
No, because we haven't been spending.
Well, true.
So our estimated cash reserves for 2020 is 3.8 million. In 2021, it's 6.5. So I think in 2021, by then, I think we will be able to make a transfer into the rainy day fund.
That's
and be at that point where we're not borrowing $6 million from the bond bank.
Right. I mean, 2021 might be that year where we're not borrowing, and then 2022 is the year where, okay, now we can start building it because we haven't had to borrow. I mean, I want to commend the budget committee, Nina, Mayor, Board of Works, just on keeping spending in line, finding areas that we can cut, unnecessary positions that just were not refilled when people left. I want to commend you all on this.
I mean, just for example, for like the transfers that we did earlier, you know, there were some shortfalls in other, you know, line items within the budget, and I was able to pull $50,250 out of the mayor's salaries line item because it's not going to be used, and then, you know, it would just roll. The appropriation just goes away. So we were able to do that to fill, you know, to help the fire department, planning department, the council for equipment, you know, which was just new council persons coming in, and the you know, laptops or iPads for that. So thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Okay, if there are no further questions, I will ask Nina to please call the roll.
Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilperson Pogorski?
Yes.
Councilperson Geishurst?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yeah.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Goley?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
So at this point in the agenda, we have reception of remonstrances, petitions, and memorials from the public. Is there any public that would like to speak? Do we have any public, Colin?
I see one, maybe two people on the line. I don't know if they're here just observing or if they wanted to speak. Sounds like it might just be just to observe.
Okay. Are there any other matters not already considered to come before the council?
Are you guys okay with the new agenda?
I do have one thing that I would like to bring up to the council and the public, since you're watching. We have switched over as of last Friday to a new all-call system. It's called HyperReach. We got out of the Blackboard mainly for a couple of reasons. We weren't reaching everybody that was on the list, A, and B, the Blackboard was costing about $22,000 and the new system is costing us $8,000. So we have a substantial cost savings with the new HyperReach. The one thing we just need everybody to do is go on our website and re-enroll. I think we have about 9,000 names in there right now. A lot fell out during the transition because they were either bad numbers or whatever. So if anybody would like to get on to the all-call, go to our website. There is a link there. It's very simple. People that have done it have said piece of cake. So I'm just encouraging everybody watching this and anybody else that you might know would like to get on the all-call system to jump on that website and get enrolled. I think we're going to see a lot of changes. One of the things is it's accessible to the hearing impaired. It has a lot of capabilities. You can pick and choose what you want to get a call on. There are so many other wonderful features to the HyperReach, and I want to thank Norma for all the work that she has done getting that thing going, working with Nina, because I think it's going to be such a benefit to our residents. But you need to sign up. So you need to go on our website and sign up to get the all-call. Does anybody else have anything they would like to say?
Thank you, Mayor, for getting the new system up and running. And thank you to Norma. I know she's been working hard on getting everybody transitioned over, so thank you for that.
And so if there is nothing else to come before the council, I would like to have someone motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Nina, would you please call the roll?
Councilperson Alvarez,
Yes.
Councilperson Podgorski,
Yes.
Councilperson Geis-Hurst, Councilperson Clem,
Yes.
Councilperson Williams,
Yes.
Councilperson Gully,
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli.
And just to remind everybody, this weekend is our lighting of the Christmas tree. We are going to be there from 1 to 4, at which time at 4:30 we will be lighting the Christmas tree, which is outside this year between the police and fire station. It is a drive-through event. No one is going to be getting out of their cars, but I'm hoping you'll all get a chance to drive by. And we have some great things set up and our lights are ready to go and to go on.
Great.
So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, everybody. If we don't see you, each other.
Merry Christmas.
Everybody stay safe, please.
Yep.
Thank all you guys for your hard work too.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.